Hey guys. Yes, my hand is dyed. I don't want to talk about it. Okay. I'm doing a series where I review classic horror films and tell you my opinion about the film and tell you what the film is about. All of that good stuff. This video does contain spoilers. I will leave a timestamp in the description so that you can hear my opinion on the film, spoiler free. But if you want to hear about the film itself and you want to know what the film is about, carry on watching from here. I watched Blair Witch, as you can tell from the title. 1999 horror film. 3 people saying that they're going to make a documentary about the urban legend of the Blair Witch. And they're going around and they're interviewing people and they're asking people their opinions and stuff on the Blair Witch, if they think it's true, have they heard any stories, so on and so forth. One of the people because like everyone says various stories, one of the people talks about how something about rocks, where like the witch is there if there's rocks outside. I say this because it comes to relevance later on. I don't think any of them particularly do. This one does. Because they're going to go try and find the Blair Witch and they're going to go and see like if they can find any spooky stuff for like a weekend. So they all pack a bag and they go along and they go through the woods, find it. Later, so the first night they don't light a fire. The second night they light a fire and they start hearing spooky stuff during the night. And they say it's the witch and they get a bit spooked out because they get lost and they don't want to be there anymore, and they ask for the map and the lady asked for the map and they're like, we gave it back to you, we looked at it last but we gave it back to you, and they get into a bit of an argument because of this, and like one of them, the girl and one of the guys, turn against each other, and the other guy's like, guys, let's try and get out, it'll be fine, just need to get out of here. So the next day, because they say about how they're lost, they don't know where to go, they're running out of food because they only packed for a few days, and one of them's like, don't worry because my girlfriend hasn't heard a call from me because we have no signal, hasn't heard a call from me, so if we don't arrive within the next couple of days, my girlfriend will worry and call the police and get someone to search for us, so we're not going to be left here for dead. But the witch is after them because they keep waking up and like they find like symbols and stuff outside of their houses and stones, and they keep coming across random things in the woods and they keep hearing stuff during the night, and a couple of scary things happen as well. Turns out one of the guys did have the map and he kicked it into a river, and he kind of acts like it was because he was possessed, but I don't believe him. I think he's just a bit of a weirdo and a bit of a mean man. But he passes it off as that he was possessed. He passes it off that something possessed him to kick it in the river and it wasn't his fault. And they're like, you know what, that's annoying, but we're not going to trust you with anything else. We're not going to trust you with the compass. We're just going to keep going in one direction every day, hope that we come across something. That guy then goes missing, and I can't remember when he goes missing. I can't remember if it's during the night when they wake up and he's not there, or if it's during the day he goes away and he then gets lost or what. But he goes missing and it's just the girl and one of the guys. They then come across a house during the night and they find the guy who went missing in the house, and they both have cameras so that they separate, and the first guy you assume gets bunked off because you see the guy, like, you hear noises, you hear laughter and stuff like that, and then you see the camera drop and you assume that the other guy's been bunked off. Then you hear hysterical screaming from the girl, cuts to the girl, and the girl sees one of the guys standing in the corner, the camera drops and you assume that she's dead. And then roll credits. This is an hour and 24 minutes long, as you can probably tell by how much there is before compared to the other ones. There isn't much, like, it's a generic ghost story essentially. I didn't like it. as a film. This is kind of spoilers, I suppose, but not particularly much spoilers because it doesn't tell you how the ending is or anything. It just tells you the generic thing of the film. You can watch it and you can think, there is no witch. It's just the two people pulling a prank on her. Or they want to kill her, which I don't think is the intention of the story. And you can go watch it because I assume that you know that it's meant to be a supernatural film. I watched it with the thing of there isn't a witch and they're trying to kill her, which is a film theory that I watched that talks about it. And I know I was watching it thinking, actually, yeah, because you don't see anything spooky happen. You hear lots of screaming, you hear people whispering, and it all happens during the night. They always are like, look, we'll take the night shift. The girl never takes the night shift, ever. Okay. It's always like the nice guy, and then the douchebag is like, no, like, he's a douchebag. But that could be part of the ploy because you make them hate one of the guys, and then the other guy is actually behind the operation as well, but you trust him because he's a nice guy and he's taking the girl's side. I did not like this film. There wasn't anything there. It wasn't a jump scary film. I got bored. Problem is I don't know whether or not I was bored watching it because it wasn't a good film. I don't know if that's the reason, or if I was just in the mindset of no matter what I focus on, I'm not going to be able to focus on it for more than 20 minutes at a time, which I have a feeling is partly to do with it, because I know I was watching it thinking, well, I want to go do loads of other stuff, so I'm gonna do other things, which with the other films I didn't do. But I don't know whether or not, because I was watching it, I watched it for like 20 minutes and then was like, I want to go make lunch. So I paused it when I made lunch and then came back for like half an hour. Then did something else and then watched the last half an hour because it's not a long film. I don't know whether or not I did that because that's the mind state that I was in, or if I did that because it wasn't a good film and I got bored. I fully understand that it's like a unique film because it's not like a set up as like a camera crew recording people acting. It's set up as the people acting are the camera crew, which I know was unique for the time, because Paranormal Activity is like a rip-off of it, but Paranormal Activity did a very good job at it, I think. There's no jump scares throughout any of it. You don't see anything. Like, none of them get possessed, unlike you see the possession. It's not a good film. And I'm sad about it, because I thought I'd like it. But I'm not over keen on gory films. Like, I don't like gore, I don't like torture, I don't like any of that. But I enjoyed gory films. So like, I watched Saw and Saw 2. Like, I watched Saw 2 quite recently, and I preferred Saw 2, the storyline and the film and everything, more so than the Blair Witch Project. And the Blair Witch Project is supernatural. There's no gore, nothing like that. And I preferred Saw 2. So that kind of sums up how bad it is, considering Saw 2 isn't my kind of thing. It's gore. It's not that gore, to be fair. Like, it's probably one of the least gory films out of the Saw franchise. But I prefer Chucky. I preferred Nightmare on Elm Street. Out of the ones that I watched for this Halloween series, I preferred the classical gory films over the supernatural one. And my favourite films are normally like Conjuring or Annabelle, Insidious. I just named James Bond films. But I really like Friend Request, Conjuring. Be it supernatural, be it murder mystery, be it just mystery in general. I like ones that make you think. Blair Witch has so much potential to do that. It just doesn't. That's all of them. That's all the films. I don't have another film to watch because it's Halloween when I'm posting this. What are you guys dressing up for Halloween? If you want to see what I'm dressing up for Halloween, go look at my Instagram. I'll leave a thing here, or like here, or somewhere on the screen. That is my Instagram. where you can go and see what I'm going to be for Halloween, because I have some ideas but I'm not sure about what I'm going to be. Go follow me on Instagram, go look at my Instagram, tag me in Instagram because I want to see your looks. This is what I'd rate all of the films that I've watched for this franchise. This is based off of my want of watching the others in their franchises, how I felt in the moment, how I felt afterwards, and the general impact it had on me. Chucky at the top, because Chucky, although it wasn't a scary film, the idea is scary. I enjoyed the film. I want to be able to watch the rest from the franchise, which is more so than the other films. Then it would be Nightmare on Elm Street, because the concept is scary. It made me not be able to sleep very well, which is the only one out of all the films that I watched for this series did. So that's why it's number 2, because it was scary afterwards. The aftermath was scary, the thought of it scary, the acting was pretty good. Exorcist, very good film. Scary in the moment, very good for the time period, considering it was in the 70s. Very good for the time period. Enjoyed it in the moment, found it very, very excellent. Didn't give me nightmares or anything like that though, so not above Nightmare on Elm Street, even though I found both Nightmare on Elm Street and Exorcist equally good. Scream, good film, definitely recommend it to people, but it is a spoof of slasher films, but it knows that it's a spoof of slasher films, so that doesn't matter, but it is a spoof of slasher films. However, I was watching it thinking, not only is this a spoof, it also is just the first scary movie, but serious, so couldn't take it seriously because of that. Whether or not that's because I'd watched a scary movie and it's actually a decent film, or because it's not a particularly good film, I don't know. So there is that bias. However, would still recommend it. Still a very good film, quite interesting to watch. Blair Witch Project I would not recommend to anyone. Honestly, it's not a good film. Didn't particularly like it. The acting was good, I don't mind the acting. It doesn't add anything new to the table at all for modern day films. For the time period that it was alright. I appreciate that the style of filming was unique for the time, but it was an alright film. It wasn't great, not gonna lie. I have no want to watch it again. I have no want to watch any of the new installments, if there are any new installments. I assume there are because there are for other films, but I have no want to watch new installments of it. It's the only one that I wouldn't recommend people to watch, which is odd. I hope that you've enjoyed this little horror franchise. Just subscribe, because I post videos like this every week. Now that Halloween is over, I'm still going to look like this, because this is my aesthetic, and not just looks that I do for Halloween, which may be surprising. I'll be doing some more DIY videos. I believe next week I should be doing a DIY video, which should be fun. Like as well, so that I know whether or not to do more videos like this. And go watch the other films in this installment, because this review was shockingly bad. But the other reviews that I do of the films aren't as bad, and I actually review them quite well, and they're decent films, so go watch that reviews. I'll leave a playlist here probably, and then I'll leave probably just a video. Bye. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die.